Hey guys, it's the Crewmates back again with another banger. Today we are going to be talking about Disney's biggest failure, G-Force. G-Force is a miserable game, which has many flaws. I used to be a huge fan of Disney's G-Force and would watch it every night. That is until I made the poor choice to play the official G-Force game. It had done irreparable damage to my mental health. Now, before we begin, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Rainbow Friends. Rainbow Friends is the hit indie horror game for you and your pals to enjoy, and will have you on the edge of your seat. Currently, there are 2 thrilling chapters of the game to explore, ranging from the perilous trials in Red's underground labs to an exciting fun park with a sinister secret hidden deep within. The main premise of Rainbow Friends is to complete the daunting tasks necessary to escape, such as collecting blocks and finding lookies. And on top of this, the Rainbow Friends are on the hunt, and you don't want to be found by them in this twisted game of hide and seek. Thanks again to Rainbow Friends for sponsoring today's video. Now back to G-Force. G-Force released in cinemas on July 31, 2009 to overwhelmingly positive reviews and going on to win 16 awards. Audiences worldwide adored the incredibly emotional story, lovable characters, and more. To preserve the integrity of the original movie, Disney locked it inside a vault 600 meters below their HQ, never to be tainted by corporate greed. This was until the deviously dangerous Project Jamesify went on a rampage through Disney HQ and snagged the original G-Force. This led to the tragedy that is the G-Force video game to be created. G-Force, the game, arrived to the world on July 14, 2009. Now, you may be wondering, how could the game have released before the movie released? Well, obviously, it is due to Project Jamesify's teardown time machine, which he used to cause havoc and suffering to all, by releasing this foul game. He was able to taint G-Force's reputation forever. Anyway, G-Force, the game, is a hack-and-slash platformer involving some stealth mechanics where you play as Darwin the Rat, along with your pal, Mooch the Fly. Darwin is able to perform a large variety actions such as whipping the disobedient appliances, using a jetpack to run at incredible speeds, and the ability to use an array of rat-sized guns. These abilities are vital to the rat's survival against the onslaught of Joe Biden's mischievous appliances. The machines have gone rouge and have transformed into rat-hungry monsters. You and your other rat buddies are America's last hope against the devious machines. With a premise like this, it sounds like an incredible game, right? Unfortunately, that is not the case. The game starts out with you breaking into Joe Biden's house to find out what the cheeky fella is planning. Getting into the house is meant to introduce you to platforming while being stealthy to avoid Joe Biden's guards. Though this is basically the only time in the entire game where stealth is a key part. This means that the game pointlessly is introducing stealth mechanics at the beginning, gaslighting the player into thinking that stealth will be an important aspect throughout the game. After that, you get into Joe Biden's house, ready to discover his cunning plan and save America. In this section you are introduced to an actual key part of the game, Mooch the Fly. Mooch is an essential aspect to the game which you must control to reach certain switches and areas Darwin is too fat to reach, such as closed vents, and Mooch's house. The Mooch house was a really heartwarming part of the movie as it delved deep into Mooch's life as a family man. Mooch, while being an incredible character, is extremely underutilized for the entire game. The game completely ignores Mooch's abilities from the movies, such as him speaking Polish to communicate with the sinister contraptions, and his signature weapon, the Mooch Mauler, a double-barrel shotgun custom made for Mooch by Speckles. When playing the game, I felt deeply saddened by the fact I wasn't able to use the Mooch Mauler to demolish those who stood in my way while saying Mooch's catchphrase, "Get mooched." Looking past that, I made it to Joe Biden, who activated his army of household appliances to cause havoc among America. This is where the game really began. The game which had now began was a miserable, brain-melting experience which I wouldn't wish upon anyone. The gameplay comes down to running through Joe Biden's secret underground labyrinth while whipping appliances to make them obey ratkind. This section of the game is a grueling time waster due to the extremely repetitive environments, dull platforming, and the exclusion of Darwin's one-pound burger he uses to defeat the evil iPhone. I was devastated. After trudging through the labs, I finally made it out after a failed attempt to infect the appliances with the G-Virus, killing them all, failed. This led on to the final part of this section. a high-speed chase and the motorized rat balls. This section had the potential to be fun and exciting, yet they decided to remove your ability to shave, making this section nearly pointless. Add the uninteresting areas onto this and you get a lame Minion Rush knockoff. Once you have finally made it through the first section, the Rat Squad decide to go to the production factory to try stop them from the source. This section is extremely similar to the previous, so I don't feel there is any point going into it. Once I had made it to the next section, I felt miserable. Everyone's favorite movie had been ruined by this despicable game, and now what would happen next? Fortunately, this next section was far better than the first two. This section takes place in the FBI headquarters as you try to save Joe Biden from the place as it has been overrun by mechanical maniacs. Though this area still carries over many of my issues with the game, such as uninteresting puzzles and weird movement. The robot battling sections were slightly entertaining with a larger emphasis on using all of your weapons. They even brought back fan-favorite character Ricky Rat to guide you on your way while saying his signature line, "I am Ricky Rat." This put a smile on my face, which was then quickly removed once I got back to the dull platforming. Another thing that makes this section more bearable is the fact that the areas look slightly different to the first two sections, even being able to go outside again. Though the best part of this section and the entire game is the rooftop fight to save Joe Biden. This is a thrilling fight against the evil onslaught of appliances that I thoroughly enjoyed. Though my favorite part is Darwin the Rat's talk with Joe Biden after the fight. It is so cool to see Darwin the Rat and Joe Biden have a friendly chat. It really does warm my heart. Finally, I reached the final section, and to my immeasurable disappointment, the uninteresting lab areas were back. The combat had also become worse with the removal of the somewhat interesting scenarios the rat faced previously. Midway through the final section, I fell into a coma for 5 weeks, so I forgot what happened for the rest of that section. But it was probably awful. Overall, G-Force is an uninspired, unoriginal, and uninteresting game which I would not recommend to anyone. The lack of fan-favorite sections such as Mooch's house and the Big Boot ruined the potential of the game tremendously. Couple that with boring gameplay and a bad ending. It really does make for a terrible game. This game is not Crewmates approved, so we recommend you do not attempt to play it. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a Crewmates banger. If we get to 100 subscribers, we drop the Crewmates' first official album. Goodbye.